Heroes of the hour. Alphino seems distracted. Your battle with Nidhogg's Shade will beget many an epic ballad, Lavenza, and rightly so. It was, without a doubt, one of your more epochal victories, though I must admit that I take greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. And not only for your own sake, but had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg news of his condition. Yeah, I wonder what circumstances led to... Like, what was it about Nidhogg, like, fusing with Estinian or whatever, that, like, now that we beat him, it, or, you know, like, remove the eyes from Estinian, like, Nidhogg's spirit was able to, like, move on. And why it wasn't just... Well, because I guess his body is just no more. It's somewhere in the abyss, I guess. Which, like, throwing the eyes down there does... Anyway. Let us speak with Lucia. She will know how Estinian fares. Lavenza, Master Alphino, my honored friends. As if winning Hraesvelgr to our cause were not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were Lavenza and Estinian. One triumphed over Nidhogg's Shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. So I was just thinking of Isael and Orshafant as well. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of our hospitalier captain. I am told he has yet to regain consciousness. Hospital captain. Quit throwing these weird words at me. But as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Emmerich is never long from Estinian's bedside, and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmund and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, Lavenza. 'Twould seem that we are awaited at Fortal Manor. Pray call upon Lord Edmund. I gather Fortal Manor holds its breath for your return. Jeez. I know we get a cutscene, which is probably the cutscene that ends 3.3, where we finally see Estinian without the helm. But clearly that's not yet.
The heroes of the hour return.
Oh, even Honoro is
We
in.
but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions.
Yeah, seriously.
I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
Our master Alphino has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
Go, Warrior of Light. We will not begrudge you time spent at a comrade's sickbed. At long last Nidhogg is gone. No true son of Ishgard could wish for more. Yet scores of my brother knights fell in the battle, and I find my joy tempered by their loss. Without the guiding hand of yours truly, House Helenar's famous dragon killers wouldn't have killed half so many dragons just now, as I shall be sure to tell my lady when next we meet. If my lord's irrepressible optimism were ever to fix upon something about which he had cause to be optimistic, I dare not think what he might achieve. Yeah, he's a piece of work, to be sure. Pray return to the congregation of our knights most heavenly. I mean, it's definitely like the Waking Sands, Rising Stones of this expansion. Estinian is resting in our infirmary. The sick beds are our front line now, and the battle to save the wounded continues unabated. Lavenza, my friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alphino? Ah, he came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Hraesvelgur's trial and all that followed. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. Litany of Peace. Amric appears lost in nostalgia. My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained had fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, as such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind, revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother. Oh. I would venture that in Alphino he sees something of his lost sibling. Okay. And in the ungentle chidings of Estinian, Alphino has found the elder brother he never had. I mean, I guess that explains the relationship like I was talking about earlier. It just didn't seem as close as they're making it out to be. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observations have saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphino's affection for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly... Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Is he... Tell them I am on my way. So it is over then. Quickly, Lavenza, we must go to him. Upon proceeding to the infirmary, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. We got time. We'll make the time. It's like he's crying. As far as we know, he's stable, just resting.
Estinian.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphino thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead. Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphino. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvogr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. 'Tis an honor to share the mantle of Azure Dragoon with one such as you.
Another acknowledgement.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart.
Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Emmerich. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest. Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
Can't blame him after that.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
Yeah, that comparison between Estinian and Nidhogg is just pure poetry, you know?
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Which I can only take that as just him giving up, like, leadership of Ishgard. Right?
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emmerich called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. 'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords.
Of course.
Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept.
Okay, that's Charlemagne or whatever. Charlemont or however you pronounce it. So I didn't know he was the one that...
And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir. Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace.
Here she is.
The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Dragoons to get like a dragon pet, you know, like 11 after this. You know, like in Stormblood or whatever. Would have been kind of cool. Although would have probably just dealt with the same problems that like Summoner has, so probably better that they didn't.
Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Forton. Heaven's word. This very much feels like a moment that should lead into credits, but it's only the 0.3 patch. And then this is when he closes the book. Which is very much like a... This was probably the first time really, because 2.3 wasn't really this way, where it was like, this is the end of like that expansion story, and the 0.4 and 0.5 are lead-ups. I don't recall if Stormblood had like a similar type of situation, or I don't recall how point 3 ends for that. We already saw him go off. If I remember correctly, he leaves the bouquet in Ezisla for Isael. So what are we doing here? This is an odd jump. I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in an all too rare moment of idleness when I chanced to behold a certain hero wending her way towards the city on Dragonback. Oh, okay, yeah, because we were last doing that. Welcome home, Lavenza. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of office. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with a position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more impossible challenges. The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters. Am I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is this that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard at the head of the House of Lords? Ah, but these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience. And it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the foundation of our legacy. I hear word from Captain Whitecape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. No, Captain Whitecape. First, I think we've heard of him. His willfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he deigns to come home. Thank you, Lavenza, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Alphino. All right, I guess let us convey his regards then. Ooh, and Tataru. You've saved the day again, Lavenza. Not that I ever doubted you would. We've got Honoro here. Oh, no. It's somebody else. Mr. Shark, Salette. My name is Salette. I'm sorry. I've just begun working here, and I'm not... You're rather famous, you see, and... Pray excuse me. Okay, interesting. I had my spear at the ready, Mr. Shark, and I am proud to say that my hand only trembled ever so slightly. Interesting. I wonder what part she plays. You know, going forward. You spoke with Sir Emmerich? I do not envy him his position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet though her people may stumble from time to time, I know of none better than Sir Emmerich to lead the march of progress. As for us, there remains the small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Ascian machinations and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. And there you go. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. You may now travel to a selection of distant locales from the landing in Ishgard. Huh. I wonder what those places are. Eventually you just get used to like what's available. And generally, like, it wasn't until more recently that I realized where you could go with it. Ah, right. I remember this part. That they take the Nidhogg's eyes. That smug look on his... Like, those overexpressive, you know, emotes work well for, like, the Hildebrand quest, but I don't know about the MSQ. Ooh, what's going on here? Thank you, Blanairs. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. All is proceeding as expected, then. Aye, there is naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. Oh, that's probably talking about Thancred. No! Alice. And Thancred. This way. Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part, and we will play ours. And thus did grey mist give way to azure skies, man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song, but beneath shrouded boughs, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. And there we go. The end of part 3. Thank you for watching this video. Tonight's stream was a lot of fun. We finally killed Nidhogg. Finally, for the last time. Which I think finishes off 3.3, and we moved into 3.4 with the stream ending after taking on Titan again and meeting poor Gabu. It was fun, but sad there at the end, but fun. If you enjoyed this and want to see it live, come and join me on my Twitch. The link is down below. And again, if you enjoyed this one, please like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, have a good one.